When it comes to cutting-edge robotics, the names don't get much bigger than Boston Dynamics. We recently had the chance to visit the company's headquarters just outside of Boston in Waltham, Massachusetts. There, CEO Robert Playter gave us a personal demo of two of his company's most exciting robotic creations. First up, quadruped robot Spot. Spot's currently available for a variety of commercial and industrial uses. So what are you going to show us here?
So we're going to start with basic mobility.
Okay.
Rob and I will talk through that. And then as I'm doing this, I'll also be teaching you how to drive.
You're going to teach me how to drive
Yeah.
Spot?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's really easy.
Okay.
We'll start off with the stereo array cameras. There's two in the front, one on each side, one in the back. This allows the robot to see the world around it. So
The robot has basically eyes all the way around.
we could demonstrate obstacle avoidance.
Okay.
We could.
I'm the ultimate obstacle here. Hi, Spot.
All right, so it's
So it saw that you were there.
Yeah.
And it went
Hi,
around
Spot.
you.
Hi, Spot. How are you? Are you coming? You coming to me? Then I got the chance to drive Spot myself.
So these joystick controls are like video games
Okay.
and drone controls. So if
Okay.
you push this forward with your left thumb, that's forward. And then pull it towards you, that's backward. And then push one side, so that's sidestepping.
Look at him.
Yep. Or strafing. And then your other one is turning. So if you turn to the right and then turn to the left, and you've got it.
And so you're just giving it a very high level command about where to go. It's dealing with all of the foot placement and the balance.
Okay, you ready?
One of the first tests we built to really make sure the legged balance works is can it walk over a rocky obstacle where the rocks pivot and turn out of the way. And it's a really hard balance problem. And so we ended up building these boxes of rocks.
Wow, look at him go. Can he go backward?
Yeah.
Oh, I am so impressed.
So have him come up these stairs. So he can also see the stairs. And if you just basically point it up, you don't even have to perfectly center it on the stairs. It'll just go do the rest on its own.
Okay.
Just keep pointing forward. There you go.
Look at him go.
And now just have it come right back down.
So
Yeah.
you'll want to go down backwards, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we don't like to come down forward. So you probably got to line him up a little bit better.
Okay.
Kind of point his back end down the
Okay.
stairs. And that way he can see the stairs.
So if you use your right joystick, there you go.
There you go.
Now it's okay to come
So
down?
now he's kind of looking down the stairs. Yeah, now
Okay.
come down.
Look at that.
That's why eyes on your butt are useful.
It can even open doors on its own.
So
This is robot-human interaction here.
yeah, so
at its best.
you're proud of Spot.
I'm very
right?
proud of Spot.
So you're associating with it already.
I am. Then we got to meet their humanoid robot, Atlas. Atlas is a research platform designed to push the limits of whole body mobility, but it's not yet available for purchase.
So now that I've pressurized the robot, you can watch as I tell the robot to get up.
Oh, okay.
The child's pose there.
Oh my, he looks human. Okay.
It was so great being able to build a robot that could get itself up off the
Look
ground.
at that. He's doing squats. Okay, Atlas.
So Atlas has about 29 actuated degrees of freedom. It's definitely the most
Wow.
complicated robot we've built so
Look
far.
at him.
And all those joints are powered by hydraulic fluid that gets pumped throughout the whole body. But it also makes for a very lightweight, strong actuator.
Wow.
This
Look at
checks
that.
out itself
And
before
that's
the
you.
routine. Yeah.
You're doing all of this.
So I'm triggering trajectories. So we've got various behaviors on the robot that I
Like?
can
Like?
trigger. Like, for example, we've got jumping trajectories.
Wow.
We've got a jump in place. And then this is like an exuberant jump.
Oh,
Just
wow.
The joy of being a robot.
I can do that.
Hopefully
We'll see if you can keep up with Atlas throughout this thing, right?
Oh, look at him go. Is that jogging? Was that?
A little bit of running, a little bit of jogging. We're going to do a little parkour course right now. So it's actually looking at this terrain and kind of figuring out where to place its feet.
Oh, wow. So he can see.
Yeah, it can see.
It literally can see.
You can actually see what it can see on that screen over there.
Oh, wow.
You see that display?
Can it do a backflip?
Wow, how am I supposed to surprise you when you ask for everything in advance? You know?
I love that I can figure you out here.
Let's warm up to that with some a little floor routine.
Yeah.
The bigger question is, can you still do a backflip?
No. Robots are supposed to do the things that are unsafe for humans. And so now I let my robot do my
Okay,
gymnastics.
all right, here we go. Wow, a somersault?
Can you believe it can roll that smoothly?
I
It doesn't
love it.
have a spine. And
He
yet,
has a
look
great-
how smoothly it
He
does
has
that.
a great back. Look at him.
Yeah.
That's how we're supposed to use our back.
It also has no neck, so you don't have to worry about breaking
That's
your neck.
true.
So,
Oh, was that like a?
yeah, look at
Was
me.
that what he's doing?
Yeah.
Hey, he's got a little swagger.
So now that we're all warmed up, we can
You warmed
show
up?
some more fun
Oh, we're dancing now. Look at you.
And we like dancing because we're like kind of showing expression, you know, and this is what I meant earlier about using all those joints to kind of express something.
Who taught him to dance?
Well, we actually have choreographers
Do you?
that put together dance routines, first in software, and then we download that to the robot.
Wow.
And-
All
and
right.
sometimes we actually measure humans doing the dance first as sort of a starting point.
Okay, let's see it.
Yeah.
Try it.
that
I
The
can't
shoot.
even do that.
was me.
What else can you do?
So now that we've warmed up the robot,
He's warmed up.
we're feeling good. We're feeling ourselves in this demo.
The pumps are really active. Their service juices are flowing.
And now we can do kind of the
Okay.
crescendo.
Here we go. Woo! All right.
That is the,
Duck it. Yeah.
yes. So this is the proudest Atlas. The backflip has become a very reliable behavior. So this is thank you, Atlas.
Aw.
Do
Take
that.
your bow.
That's
Take
right.
your
We'll
bow.
take two
your
bows. Standing
bow.
ovation.
Take your bow. All right, Atlas. For CBS News, Michelle Miller, Waltham, Massachusetts.
The rapid advancement of artificial intelligence has caused some people to worry about whether their jobs will be taken by the technology. A study out this week finds those fears may be overblown, at least for now. Researchers at MIT published a report in which they found that a small amount of jobs could be done by artificial intelligence, but in the vast majority of cases, it would not make economic sense to use AI to do the work. That is not deterring some entrepreneurs and engineers from using AI in an unlikely place, the kitchen. Joy Benedict shows us a restaurant powered by robots.
Now, in the suburbs not far from Tinseltown, the dream of an AI restaurant is already cooking. It's called Cali Express in the heart of Pasadena.
Is this the first time we've seen all this technology in one place?
Absolutely.
Vic Golick is in charge of the newest business on the block, a burger joint which brings a bunch of food-making robots into one cafe.
For this burger, it would take about 120 seconds.
There's a grill robot by Kachina and Flippy by Miso Robotics frying everything else. No human chefs needed.
We can't get enough people to come out to work on fryers and grills, and they're dangerous jobs. And this automation helps solve a lot of those issues that we're having.
But inventors say the use of these robots isn't a true technology takeover. It's intended to help humans.
I love the way, and I think a lot about how technology can work with people to make people's lives better.
Rob Anderson is a co-founder of Miso Robotics, which started working on Flippy, the fry maker, 6 years ago.
I mean, this is your baby.
Yeah? Oh, it's super cool.
The machine is already at work in some restaurants like White Castle and Jack in the Box.
Flippy's really good at doing repetitive tasks, which is just operating the fryer in those dangerous environments. And that way the people who work in the restaurant can focus on those human elements.
Is it costing people their jobs?
That's not what we've seen. It's really here to help people.
Flippy can make 250 pounds of French fries an hour. The Burger Bot, 100 patties, all without needing a break or a day off like its human counterparts.
These restaurants are very, very busy at peak times, and every second that gets added to somebody waiting in the drive-thru is a lost revenue opportunity for that restaurant.
But it's not just tech chefs.
A cheeseburger.
The ordering system is powered by artificial intelligence too, using facial recognition software.
I don't want things looking at my face or getting my fingerprints. Like, should I be scared of these things?
We don't think so. So we're very clear on the point that we're not doing any kind of surveillance. Every single time our cameras are going live and recognizing the user in the US, you're always tapping a button or you're asking somebody to scan your face.
And there will be humans here too, putting the finishing touches on your meal. But Cali Express plans on only staffing 2 back-of-the-house employees, a fraction of what it would take to run a non-automated kitchen.
This is the start of a revolution that's happening on the restaurant side.
Dan Ives is an analyst for Wedbush Securities. Statistics show that 62% of restaurants report being understaffed, and 82% of restaurant jobs could be handled by robotics.
We expect by 2025 that we're probably going to have 100 to 200 restaurants that'll be primarily AI focused.
And in a state where the minimum wage for most fast food workers will soon be $20 an hour, less people to pay can be a bonus for businesses.
Once the minimum wage went to 20, that's the bell going off. More and more focus on spending on AI. Because look, that's inflationary. That's the problem. You can't necessarily pass all that to the consumer.
It does reduce some jobs, but there's so many more jobs that are created with the technology as well as maintaining this technology.
In fact, these robots at Cali Express are rented as technicians watch Flippy all the time through cameras.
Truth is, I can't get my phone to work probably half the time. Yeah. What happens if Flippy flips out?
If for any reason Flippy's not working, they can kind of flip the barrier up and just cook manually as they would normally.
And as for taste?
Is it going to affect the quality and the taste?
I would say yes, in a good way, because now each burger is being cooked precisely the same way every time.
Only time will tell whether robots take over all kitchens, but watching the first of its kind come to life is a tasty technical treat and another AI debate worth chewing on.
Oh, good.
For CBS Saturday Morning, I'm Joy Benedict, Pasadena, California.
So many questions.
Yes. I feel like we're like the frogs in that pot of boiling water, the slow simmer, and before we know it,
wow,
we're gonna be there.
I'm back in the coffin now.
I am just like the number of jobs that this has the potential to wipe out for entry-level positions.
I don't disagree, but there's also the mix of there's a lot of entry-level jobs they're not getting people for. So if there's a balance where you can use these in some of those jobs and you can train workers in other jobs.
We begin with what has been a consequential week at the end of a groundbreaking year for artificial intelligence. Google has just released its newest AI model, Gemini. In some tests, it beats out OpenAI's best tech. The prospect of an AI arms race led Pope Francis on Thursday to call for a binding international treaty to avert what he called technological dictatorship. As AI becomes more powerful, the companies building it are increasingly keeping the tech closely guarded. But Meta, which owns Facebook and Instagram, says there's a better and fairer way to build AI without a handful of companies gaining too much power.
You know how to put on the headset?
Oh, no, you're about to tell me.
This was the first thing Meta wanted us to see and hear.
Hola a todos, mi nombre es Paco Guzmán.
Experimental AI that could make learning a foreign language obsolete.
Our team is very excited to share with you our achievements this year.
It's like watching with subtitles.
My name is Anna.
In real time, English became Italian.
Mi chiamo Anna. Sono entusiasta.
Chinese turned back into English.
Translate the voices of 100 languages into 36 different ones.
Do you have to tell the system which language is being spoken?
No, that's the advantage of multilingual and linguistic system. We don't need to tell the system what the language is.
But what Meta really wants you to notice in all these examples,
all right, we both in here,
isn't just what they've done, but how they've done it.
What would you like the background to be?
How about sunflowers?
Yes.
Unlike other big tech labs, Meta publishes and shares their research, open source.
Some people believe that for commercial interest, you need to keep it closed.
Most seem to think that.
Yes.
Joelle Pinault runs Meta's Fundamental AI Research Group, or FAIR, which among other things developed PyTorch, a piece of coding infrastructure that much of modern AI is built on.
So PyTorch is essentially like a set of computer libraries that gives you a way to build pieces of code much faster.
Does Facebook even own it anymore? Meta, excuse me?
No, we have passed it on to an external foundation.
To be clear, this isn't charity. Meta hopes the open approach will help it keep pace with Google and Microsoft by leveraging the help of thousands of independent developers. But open science is also a deeply held conviction for the leaders of FAIR.
So I wouldn't be working in any company that wasn't practicing open research. I have no interest in that.
Jan LeCun, Meta's chief AI scientist, was hired by Mark Zuckerberg to start FAIR in 2013, but held on to his teaching job at NYU and his focus on fundamental research. LeCun is the AI pioneer who helped prove computers could learn on their own how to recognize numbers, using neural nets long before others believed in them.
Essentially, very few people were working on neural nets then. A few scientists in San Diego, for example, were working on this. And then Geoffrey Hinton, who I ended up working with, who was interested in this, but he was really kind of a bit alone.
But Geoffrey Hinton and that little band of upstarts were eventually proven right. In 2018, Hinton, LeCun, and Yoshua Bengio, the so-called godfathers of AI, shared the Turing Award for their groundbreaking research. By then, Hinton had gone to work at Google. LeCun was scooped up by Facebook. His work helped the site recommend friends, optimize ads, and, yes, automatically censor posts that violate the rules.
If you try to rip out deep learning out of Meta today, the entire company crumbles. It's literally built around it.
But that dynamic is changing fast. Now, AI isn't just supporting existing tech, but threatening to overturn it. A possible future where the open internet with millions of independent websites is replaced by just a handful of powerful AI systems.
Now, if you imagine this kind of future, where all of our information diet is mediated by those AI systems, you do not want those things to be controlled by a small number of companies on the west coast of the US. Those systems will constitute the repository of all human knowledge and culture. You can't have that centralized. It needs to be open.
Well, there's debate on that. While many agree with LeCun that AI will be so transformational it must be publicly shared, others fear it could be so dangerous it should be built by just a few, and perhaps at a much slower pace. Like a Greek epic, the godfathers of AI are split on the question.
The current methodologies are not demonstrably safe.
Bengio is calling for AI regulation. Hinton, beginning in our March interview, has been warning AI could take over from people.
What do you think the chances are of AI just wiping out humanity?
It's not inconceivable.
Okay.
That's all I'll say.
I disagree with this completely.
LeCun says existential risk is science fiction.
It's below the chances of an asteroid hitting the Earth and, global nuclear war.
The disagreement, LeCun says, comes down to faith in people. LeCun trusts the world's institutions to keep AI safe, while Hinton worries repressive governments could use robot soldiers to perpetrate atrocities. LeCun actually sees an upside in autonomous weapons.
Can that technology protect democracy, like in Ukraine? Ukraine makes massive use of drones, and they're starting to put AI into it. Is it good or is it bad? I think it's necessary, regardless of whether you think it's good or bad.
Autonomous weapons are necessary.
Well, for the protection of democracy in that case.
But obviously the concern is, what if it's Hitler who has them rather than Roosevelt?
Well, then it's the history of the world. Who has better technology? Is it the good guys or the bad guys?
Armed with that mix of optimism and inevitability, LeCun opposes regulation on basic AI research. His main note of caution is against hype. He says superintelligence is still very far off.
Like, where is the domestic robot that can do what a 10-year-old can do? Clear up the dinner table and fill up the dishwasher. And so we have a lot of work to do.
Welcome.
Some of that work is being done here.
So you've built like a home here.
We have built a fully sized mock apartment.
Dhruv Batra oversees Meta's robotics lab.
Hey Spot, can you move the penguin from the console to the dining table?
Their goal is creating a helpful, autonomous, domestic robot.
That penguin in the arm camera is detected
constantly. And yes, there are going to be some
It thought Greg was a penguin for a minute.
There are some misdetections as well.
This was a somewhat unusual demo. Batra equally willing to show off his team's progress and concede how very far they still have to go.
Uh-oh, on its head.
Yeah, it understands shape, but it doesn't know what the right side up is.
There have to be 1,000 things like that you have to slowly teach it.
There's a whole amount of knowledge that you just consider commonsensical that we don't have yet in robots or in AI in general.
But step by step, they're being taught a human choice to create superhuman intelligence. But if it's openly shared,
nice catch.
This awesome new force won't replace us, LeCun promises, but empower us.
You have to do it right, obviously. I mean, there are, side effects of technology that you have to mitigate as much as you can, but the benefits are, far overwhelm the dangers.
This debate about open source or closed is really heating up. IBM and Apple have said they're more in the open source camp. The regulation in Europe, which is still kind of being hashed out, will also kind of get into this question. Do we want it open or do we want it closed?
You've done so much on this already. I'm curious, are you more freaked out by AI and where this can go and where we are going? Or, I guess, intrigued and this is amazing technology?
That is an interesting question, Dana. I've reflected on this a little bit.
Yeah.
I do find the more you're exposed to it, rightly or wrongly, the more you start to accept it. And this is a concern that Jeff Hinton got into on 60 Minutes a couple months ago, that these systems will kind of convince us that they're good.
They're okay.
Maybe they are good. That's what we all have to sort out.
That's what the robots want us to think, is what it all comes down to.
There is that argument. Or maybe
no robot anchors, Brian Applegate. No robot anchors.
You hear that?
In Japan, there are robots modeled after cute dogs, baby seals, and of course, humans. But a promising new area of robotics was inspired by one of the world's least liked creatures. Lucy Kraft visited a lab in Tokyo and has this report.
Fear them or loathe them, snakes are made for movement. Armless and legless, with a ribbon for a body, snakes can sidewind, crawl, and undulate across the most forbidding terrain. This versatility has inspired robots that act like serpents. Robot designer Motoyasu Tanaka of Tokyo's University of Electrocommunication admits he's charmed by snakes. Tanaka said, snakes have long, thin bodies that are perfect for getting in and out of tight spaces. Their length allows them to climb over high obstacles. Weighing about 20 pounds, with cameras in its head and tail, this snakebot has joints, motors, and sensors so it can climb stairs with ease, slink over unsteady piles of debris, and slither through pipes. After floods hit western Japan in 2018, Tanaka's snakebot wriggled into a ruined house, allowing the homeowner to search for his belongings remotely. Tanaka said future snakebots will search for victims. He said, since the snakebot's weight is distributed across its body, it can move through environments without disturbing them. Snakebots may become a household accessory.
If you've ever wondered what it's like to be wrapped in the coils of a boa constrictor, well, introducing the snake robot that gives a massage.
Perhaps not the best way to relax. But as scientists try to recreate the reptile's smoothest moves, they're also dreaming up tricks never seen in the wild. Poised like a cobra and fitted with a grabber tool, the snakebot can turn off a water valve or open a drawer. Tanaka said real snakes have just one head, but a snakebot could open a door with its mouth, hold it open, and enter the room tail first. Tanaka said his snake robot will be deployed as early as this year to inspect damage at the crippled Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant, ushering in a future where snakes won't just creep us out, they'll come to our rescue. For CBS Saturday Morning, Lucy Kraft, Tokyo.
These days, our interactions with technology are increasing at a rapid pace. From products like ChatGPT to automated phone systems, we often find ourselves talking to machines as if they were human. But while some of us might find that cold and scary, for others, it's exactly the interaction we need. Elise Preston has the story from Southern California.
Hi, Lukey. This is the start of a futuristic friendship for Luke Sepulveda.
in different spaces, you don't know how he's going to react. So I was just hoping for the best.
Ella Sepulveda's 4-year-old son is on the autism spectrum. She wants to make sure he can communicate with the world around him.
He was locked into that robot.
Yeah. That's
You're
sweet.
smiling.
I know, that's sweet.
From the inside out.
Just knowing that a robot can engage his attention, that makes me happy.
Here at the Santa Ana Public Library, robots are specially programmed to teach children with autism. 1 in 36 children in the U.S. is on this spectrum.
That is the square. Touch the square.
This is one of the first libraries in the country to provide this pricey program free.
Access is a big issue, especially to new technology.
Librarian Cheryl Eberly launched the program during the pandemic, hoping to help fill gaps of services for children of color who are often underserved and diagnosed when they're older.
Every time I see, a kid on the spectrum, a neurodivergent kid, lock in and interact with the robot and get that moment where they are bonded and they understand, it's amazing.
Bonds created with the human help of Larry Singer.
Human beings have emotions. Human beings get tired. Human beings get frustrated. A robot, same response every single time.
The tone is always the same.
They're not critical. They're always comforting.
I am proud of you.
Aww, she's proud of you. My hope and dream for him is really just do your best. You're awesome and you're loved.
For CBS Saturday Morning, Elise Preston, Santa Ana, California.
Now that's a reason for a robot.
Thank you.
You're awesome and you're loved.
We've been joking about how there's so many things with robots that get scary.
Yes.
That's a great way when you can reach a child that maybe you couldn't have reached another way.
This morning, we want to tell you about a remarkable innovation that's changing the way timeless art is created. For centuries, world-famous Carrara marble has been used to make some of the most iconic sculptures in history by famous artists like Michelangelo. His creations took hundreds of hours. Now, as Chris Livesay shows us, a new type of artist is speeding up the process of bringing art to life.
It was the marble of Michelangelo, Canova, and now
it's called 1L.
A robot, 13 feet of zinc alloy doing the work of an army of Renaissance sculptors, says Giacomo Massari, the owner of Robotor, the company behind this invention.
It's working right now on a Venus sculpture. I think it's going to take about 4 or 5 days.
And how long would it have taken you before 1L got the job?
A couple of months.
That's a good employee.
He doesn't go on holiday, he doesn't get sick, doesn't even sleep.
Crafting statues at an industrial scale and speed.
It's coated with the diamond powder.
Diamonds?
Synthetic diamond powder, yeah. It's the best cutting system.
In the very hills of Carrara, where Michelangelo sourced the marble for his David and Pietà. Today, art stars like Jeff Koons and Maurizio Catalan work closely with Giacomo, first to transform their ideas into 3D images, then sculpt them into blockbusters of their own, with a precision that's superhuman.
So this is like the Photoshop of sculpture.
Yeah, more or less, yes. It saves a lot of waste, and if there is something that is wrong or you don't like it, you can just go back. The cool thing about also this technology is that we allow the artist to think without any limit.
Thanks to a synergy of software and robotics that might be the real work of art.
What do you say to somebody who's scandalized by this, who'd say Michelangelo would be rolling in his grave?
Robot technology doesn't steal the job of the humans, but just improves it.
Some humans, however, might disagree. Here in the workshop of the Florence Cathedral, sculptors like Lorenzo Calcinai have maintained and repaired the cathedral's vast inventory of marble statues for centuries, the old-fashioned way.
We risk forgetting how to work with our hands, he says. I hope that a certain know-how and knowledge will always remain, although the more we go forward, the harder it will be to preserve it. But even he admits his profession can't remain anchored to old technologies. Outsourcing is nothing new. Renaissance masters, including Michelangelo,
hired teams of anonymous artisans who executed their concepts.
Today, some artists, like Koons and Catalan, are upfront about using the robots. Others prefer not to advertise it.
I think art is related to the thought. So if you can imagine something, it's already a unique piece of art. And with people like us that are just the contemporary artisans, there are people that bring this idea to life.
But while these modern artisans are no doubt extraordinary, even they require old-fashioned humans to apply the finishing touches. Giacomo says 1L hasn't achieved perfection on his own, yet.
How close are you now? Are you at 100%?
Not really, not really. I think, let's say we are at 99%.
99%?
99%, but it's still the human touch makes the difference. That 1% is so important.
For CBS Mornings, Chris Livesay, Carrara, Italy.
All right, Vlad, so what do you think?
I'm a skeptic. To me, my own opinion, art is an expression that comes from the soul. Every chisel that Michelangelo or Rodin, one of the most beautiful sculptures, The Kiss, that can't come from a computer. You can tell a computer to do it, but that expression of these great artists, Michelangelo, Donatello,
but what about the fact
be done by a computer.
That a robot can help an artist create more and maybe push their art because they have the opportunity to create more art over their lifetime? Think about that. Think about that during the break.
Yes, I'll sleep on that, Adriana.
Sleep on that one.
Go see, everybody just Google the picture of Rodin's The Kiss and tell me if you think a machine could have come up with it. They can certainly do it, right? But can they? It comes from here.
And Vlad speaks his truth.
And Rodin the Thinker, his famous one.
Rodin Museum in Paris. I miss you.